Hi, guys. It's your girl Queen, and we are here with 106 Live Radio, and we have Miss Cynthia Harper. We're here at the Alfred Daniel Boot Camp 2023, and we're going to have students here later, and they're going to talk about their experience being a part of
This Young Professionals Boot Camp.
this young professional boot camp. So, hi, how are you doing today?
I am absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out to cover this auspicious occasion. This is my second year working with the organization as we host the Young Professionals Boot Camp. And this boot camp is to demonstrate the legacy that will be continued by the young people throughout the country that are at different universities. The A.D. King Foundation really is built upon youth. Dr. Naomi King has a fetish and a heart for young people. Just as she loves butterflies, she loves young people. And so she's kept her husband's dream alive for years and years. As we know, A.D. King was found pronounced dead in the pool in his home years and years and decades ago. His life was cut short, but he was in the moment, in the movement, beside his brother, Martin Luther King. So here at the boot camp, we have an international delegates from all over the world that are here to talk about the legacy of the King family, A.D. King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and we bring professional youth in to make sure that they continue the legacy. We give them what they need to continue the journey.
Awesome. And what role do you play today? What is going on?
Well, actually, so I get the pleasure today of hosting the panelists with the young people, and I get to ask them some very pertinent questions on where they're going to take the legacy, how do they make the legacy move further, what are they going to do in their career, who inspires them, things of that nature.
Okay. And who all do we have here today, right now?
Ooh, there's so many people here. There are international delegates from Canada. We have people from Congo. We have people from almost all kind of African countries. They're here to celebrate this with Dr. Naomi King on tomorrow at the formal gala.
Okay. Well, it was so awesome having you right here on the red carpet. Miss Harper is a former
106
Live Radio
host, absolutely.
radio host, and she will be here doing her own thing. So you all just stay with us. We'll be right back with this wonderful occasion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Freeman. Yes, sir. Thank you.
What are we doing now?
So hi, we're here with Mr. Freeman.
Dick Freeman.
I'm so sorry. Dick Freeman?
Yeah, Richard Freeman if you want to be formal, but Dick is what my mama called me, and so I've lived with that for all of my life. Okay.
Okay. So, I would love to see her interview you, but we have another young lady that wants to interview you, and she goes by Kaya, and she's with Bridge Club Crew with 106 Live Radio.
How you doing?
Fine. How are
been
you?
Behaving yourself?
I have. You've been behaving yourself.
I don't think so. If you ask them folk out there, they all got
Well, what
something,
would they
right?
say?
Yeah,
What's something they would say?
They say everything.
Oh God.
Yes,
First off, how are you?
I'm tired, to be honest with you. I'm very tired.
Understandable. Okay.
It's been a challenge bringing folks in from all over the world,
Mhm.
but they are here.
But I think that's good. That's a movement, though, to gather people from all over. That's amazing. You guys are doing something really amazing here, and I'm just grateful to be in you guys' presence.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I call it the Miracle Bowl because Dr. Babs and I will tell you we've been trying to collaborate and bring this thing together, and we have to some extent succeeded. And to whatever extent that is, I hope it's just the seed that can germinate into something more.
Yes, and what you guys are doing here for the youth is truly amazing. I'm a young woman myself, so it's amazing to watch. So what exactly is your role here with the AD King?
Well, I represent, I serve as the director of the president of the Joe Beasley Foundation. I also serve as the chairman of the International Truth and Justice Tribunal, which are a whole bunch of folks, including Dr. Babs, who've come together to plan on bringing people from diverse places. We have people from Africa, South America, throughout North America, respected and accomplished people whom we believe, if we can get together, can start a movement, if you will, that will be sustainable and effective.
Yes, and continuing the legacy. I love to hear that. Well, thank you so much for talking to
My
me.
absolute pleasure. My only disappointment this morning is that there aren't more African American youth here. We have a wealth of knowledge, information, and accomplishment that we want to share with everyone. So get your young folk out here. Okay?
I will definitely bring my people out. I definitely will.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have B Ray with the Bridge Club crew coming next.
We're just waiting for Dr. Babs to get on the red carpet. He's running for me. Dr. Babs, I feel like you're running for me. It's amazing to be in your presence. This is Dr. Babatunde on a banjo. Did I say that correctly? Awesome. I know we rehearsed it several times while over there. I learned quick. So I know that you are the founder of the A.D. King Foundation. So tell me about that and when did you start and what prompted you to start that?
Yes, I am a co-founder with Mrs. Dr. Naomi King, who is currently 92 years old. And she is a widow of the renowned Reverend A.D. Williams King, the brother to Dr. Metropolitan King Jr. I met her around 2004, and I learned about Reverend A.D. King. I never knew Dr. King had a brother. So Dr. Avida King came to teach here and happens to be my next door neighbor. And when I went into her office, I saw a picture on the wall with the two brothers. And I asked Dr. King who the brother was. And she told me that was my father and the brother to Dr. King. And I said, wait a minute. I was a student senator at Alabama State University, where Dr. Ralph Abernathy graduated from. I was so much involved in the civil rights movement in Montgomery. I knew almost everybody, but I've never heard of Reverend A.D. King. So I ran into the library to research who he was. And the only thing I saw was his gravesite. That was all that was talked about.
Right.
So I was disappointed that how can an icon like Reverend A.D. King be buried in history.
Absolutely.
And his legacy was never acknowledged. And it was surprising to me. So I promised myself that what I did not know, the world will know.
I believe that that's awesome that you're taking that knowledge. At first, you took the time to seek out that knowledge, and now you're sharing it with everyone else, and definitely with the younger generation, because that's what we're here for the young professionals. And so that you're sharing that knowledge and that legacy with them, because just like you didn't know at that age, they didn't know either. So the fact that you're bridging that gap for them to be able to cross over, to know who these people are who fought for their rights that they have today. So I know also that you have another foundation, correct? An institute that you're the founder of and you're a part of. Tell us about that.
Well, I am a professor of computer science here at Atlanta Metropolitan State College for the past 41 years. And we're going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year. That is, the school was founded in 1974 under the equal but separate doctrine. Those of you who know history know what I'm talking about, okay? Clayton State College was also founded at that time, together with this institution.
Right.
So at that time, you had a dichotomy between the white and the black.
Correct.
So they created some institution for white folks and some institution for black folks. But they call it equal but separate. But we know it was never equal in terms of resources. Okay. And so that's where we are.
Right.
I just want to give you a background history. Okay. So this institution is very important to our people because at that time they were not given the opportunity to have an education. Now this provides the community that opportunity to be educated.
Right.
So one of the reasons why we have three major objectives for the A.D. King Foundation is because of that. First, we are here to expose our citizens, we are here to enlighten, and we are here to empower. So the three E's, okay, expose, enlighten, and empower. So every activity we develop surrounds those ideology so that we can become a fully potential individual to realize our full potential. And one of the activities that we embark upon every year, unfailingly for the past 14 years, to expose, to enlighten, and to empower, we take young people from middle school, high school, and college to what we call the Civil Rights Tour of the South, where they visit Birmingham, Montgomery, and Selma. And on Sunday, Bloody Sunday, we are always there for the past 14 years.
Wow.
So that those children can cross the bridge and know the essence of crossing the bridge. You know, we stand on the shoulders of so many giants so that we can see further
Yes.
than we could see from a low ground. And so they have to connect with the past so they can appreciate the present and forge for the future.
Absolutely.
So we are bridging and passing the baton to them. And when we go on that tour, we bring in legends that lived during that time so they can relate and touch those children and know that it's just not an history, it is real. Because I'm alive to tell you that I was part of it. And I was this young when I started. Because some of them started like Tyrone Brooks, started at the age of 13. Dr. Martin Luther King started at the age of 17. And so many, John Lewis was also very young. So they can connect with that and know that, wait a minute, useful, exorbitant, gives you power, courage, and boldness to do what is unthinkable.
Absolutely.
And so we want them to want to build them and nurture them to become leaders of today and tomorrow. Not just tomorrow, today and tomorrow, because it starts right now.
Yes, sir.
So we have to build them with integrity and character.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you. You're definitely a giant in your own right. And so we certainly appreciate you for providing your shoulders for the younger generation to stand on. Listen, you heard it first right here on 106 Live Radio, where they are taking the young people and they are exposing, empowering, and enlightening them right here on 106 Live. You heard it first from Dr. Babatunde on the banjo. I said it right again, didn't I? Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Listen, we hope that you all continue to tune in to 106liveradio.com. If you're watching, make sure that you hit like and subscribe and share. At this time, we're going to take a small break, but we definitely will be back with more interviews and more things to come. Thank you for tuning in.
Live from Atlanta. What's serving the entire globe? It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com. Broadcasting live from Atlanta. What's serving the entire globe? It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com. Broadcasting live from Atlanta. What's serving the entire globe? It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com. Broadcasting live from Atlanta. What's serving the entire globe? It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com. Broadcasting live from Atlanta. What's serving the entire globe? It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com. Broadcasting live from Atlanta. What's serving the entire globe? It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
106 Live Radio is broadcasting live from Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States to a global audience. Our radio station has a prominent international presence, which has grown to over 185 countries and is still growing. We stand behind our experienced on-air personalities and DJs to deliver clean and up-to-date content, which will leave a positive impact on all communities that we serve.
This is 106 R&B and Throwbacks. Find us on all app stores and like us on Facebook. 106liveradio.com.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Even though there's an empty seat, our son will always have a place at our table.
Even though the holidays will never be the same, my sister will always have a place in our family.
Even though life goes on, my mom will always have a place in my heart.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit
Download the 106 Live Radio app from your Google Play Store or find us on the TuneIn app.
I'm sorry. Hi guys, we're back. It's your girl Queen, KWEEN, and I'm standing next to a queen. Her name is Regina Brent, and I just found out that Regina means queen. How about that? So Regina, you are a let me see. I found out that she started an organization, and I want to talk a little bit about the organization and why did you start it? Let everybody know what you do.
Sure. Well, Queen, I just want to say that whenever you meet a Mrs. King, Naomi Ruth King, or a Dr. Babs, or a C.T. Vivian, or Reverend Lowry, or even a John Lewis, you are compelled, some kind of way, somehow, you should be, to go back wherever you are living. If there's an injustice, you should be able to address it. And so with that being said, after meeting all these wonderful civil rights icons, I went back to my hometown. And at that time, I think Trayvon Martin had been killed. Following that, Eric Garner lost his life to police brutality. And also, we don't know for sure what happened with Sandra Bland, but Sandra Bland was a friend of mine. She was a church member of ours at the DuPage AME Church located in Lisle, Illinois. She was family to many of us. And when her life was lost, I'll put it that way, uh, it was heart wrenching. And so, with that being said, I began to create an organization called Unity Partnership with a co-founder by the name of Mr. Ronald Allen, who is now deceased, because we felt the need that if we're going to live in a lay of land that we know very little about, and we are being watched, or we're being overruled by law enforcement who may not understand our culture, our heritage, our ways of life, then it is best that we try to put an organization together to partner with them so that we can understand what it is they do as law enforcement officers and what it is they need to understand about us as African American citizens and Black and brown people as well. Because it was just not about Blacks, it was about the Hindu, the Muslims, the Hispanic, whoever else who were people of color. And so we felt the need to organize this organization. And I have to tell you, we've gained many partnerships with law enforcement there. We've from Chicago all the way out to the western suburbs. They are our friends. Some of them are our brothers now. And so we hold monthly meetings in order to be updated about the new laws, which George Floyd, that particular incident brought about a new bill called HB 3653, which enacts new rules and regulations, policies, and procedures on how to handle citizens altogether. And also, we have now the no cash bill,
Okay.
that where people who have been incarcerated, sometimes even wrongfully, or for minor offenses, can get out without a cash bill. And from what I understand in our last law enforcement meeting that we hold monthly, that procedure is going through by smoothly. The state's attorney, Mr. Bob Berlin, says that the process and procedure from his office is going smoothly. So we're happy about that.
Okay. Well, let the viewers know, how long have this organization been going on? How long have you-
This organization was created in, I want to say, February of 2016. So it's about 7 years.
About 7 years?
Yes.
Okay. And if let everybody know about the information, give them a little information
Okay,
about how
so
they can.
you can join us, or you can look at our website at www.unitypartnership.org. We have a membership of $35 a year, and we invite all organizational leaders to meet with us as well as law enforcement on a monthly basis so that all of us can be updated about new rules, new laws, new legislations. And we've also partnered with the legislative officials also to be able to continue to keep up the good work.
All right. Well, we thank you for showing up today. And thank you for getting on the carpet with 106 Live Radio.
Listen, this is a celebration for Dr. King work and Reverend A.D. King, especially his work with his brother and his magnificent wife, Mrs. Naomi Ruth King, who is relying on you and me and others to keep the good fight up.
Keep that fight up.
Keep the good fight up.
Yes,
And
this
so
for
that's why I'm here.
all of you.
Keep the
Camera.
good fight up.
Keep the good fight up. Thank you so much, Miss Queen.
Thank you so much.
All right, so guys, we have next Miss Kaya B.
Hello, guys. Your girl Kaya B here with Bridge Club Crew on 106 Live Radio. And today I have with me
Demaya Denson.
So, hey, Demaya, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You guys, Demaya is a student here, a new student here at the AD King program. And, just tell me, how did you come across this program?
Well, this program was really something that was mind-blowing to me because you always hear about Dr. Luther King in school, but you never hear about his brother, A.D. King. And when I got into it and I started watching his videos about his wife and how he became how he was rescued from his house by God and everything like that, that's when I was really getting developed into the A.D. King Foundation.
That sounds great. I love that. So tell me a little bit about yourself and where you go to school, because, that's legendary.
I go to Oglethorpe University. I am currently earning a bachelor's of physics engineering, a bachelor's of science from Oglethorpe University, and I'm studying to be a robotics engineer.
That sounds. How do you get into robotics? Like that just, it's crazy. I've never heard anybody say that, like ever. Like I'm into robotics. No, never. So how did you get into that? Like, what is it about robotics that really truly interests you?
I think what interests me the most about robotics is the fact that you can always build. You can always reorganize things. Like a robot is like only the body, but the algorithm makes it. Like what you tell it to do, what you bridge it up to do, and more like things like that. But I think it was like the first thing, me seeing it at GMST, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I think I want to do that.
That's definitely cool. I feel like robotics it's one of those things. It's like a never ending thing. Like it'll always only get better. Kind of like the internet. It'll only elevate. So I see here. So since this is a program dedicated to the youth, tell us a little bit about what you've done for your community.
First off, I would like to begin that I worked at a daycare for 2 years using some of the rules that I learned from Diamond in the Rough, which is also a mentoring for youth development, like how you should walk, how you should talk, but like in navigating yourself like throughout this world that's filled with like stereotypical values, filled with like a lot of like diversity, but not employing the diversity in you. So I would teach kids from I would say 3 to 5, like how they could do that within themselves, how they can encourage others, and how they can recognize their differences and define them as who they are.
I love that. I love how they're, dedicating to the youth and pouring it into them while they're young. So as they get older and grow older, they can teach others younger than them. And it's like, let's just be better as one. Let's come together and be better. So I know briefly we talked about AI. So, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, AI can really bring new results to the table. So AI is not only just making like robots, making artificial intelligence where you could see someone, talk to someone that's actually a robot, but it's also integrated into the things that we already hold dear. Like for example, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Those are the top 3 companies with the best algorithm because they can cater to what you want and they can also cater to the things that you wouldn't expect.
It's almost scary to a certain point. Like it's creepy almost, like how in tune they are with us.
Like thing about algorithms and AI, which is some people do see as scary because they are allowed to generalize information and find information, put it into different directories and whatnot. But putting that all into one thing,
it seems scary, but I guess. Okay, so lastly, so being that you're a new student here, what are some of your expectations after you finish the program?
After I finish the program, I'm wondering how I can help with the A.D. King Foundation to bring what I know, my knowledge, to help accelerate what we're already doing here.
Most definitely. Well, guys, you heard it here first with Demaya. Thank you so much, Demaya, for talking to me. And that's all I have for you today. So next, guys, we will have B. Ray back again for the 18th time. Oh, 1 minute. We can get a picture. Okay. Well, we'll be here with B. Ray.
Hey, it's your boy B Ray, and I'm back. And we have Miss Kyla Renee Davis. Thank you for joining us on the red carpet for 106 Live. We do appreciate you. Listen, I'm reading over your resume, and this is impressive. I just want you to know this is impressive. So we're going to start with, I see that your name in Hebrew embodies victory. So tell me about that. How does that resonate with you? How does the word victory resonate with you, and how do you embody that in your everyday life?
Yes. So when I looked up what my name meant and I found out that it was victorious in Hebrew, it really excited me. It makes me think that there is a finish line to my goals, that the hard work that I am pushing and giving out, that, like I said, there's going to be a finish line and I'm going to get the victory. So it's really giving me like a drive in life, knowing that my name means victory.
Absolutely. And you don't have a finish line for the victory. You already have the victory.
Yes.
So definitely know that. So I love that you embody that. Listen, I love that you went to the first ever HBCU created in, was it 1885 or 1895?
1854.
1854. My apologies. Lincoln University, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that experience and how that was to be one of the students for the first ever founded HBCU.
Yes, I really enjoyed my time at Lincoln University because I did grow up in a predominantly like rural white town, and we didn't get to learn much about Black history except for Rosa Parks or like the Middle Passage, and I knew that there was more, so I made it a goal of mine to go to an HBCU because I wanted to be confident in my skin, because I'm not going to change skin colors when I wake up. So just knowing that I went to the first HBCU, and I did get a little bit of culture shock, but it was great getting to know my roots, getting to know a lot more about Black history. So it was an honor to go to the first one and for me to build the confidence that I have today.
That is amazing. That's an excellent opportunity, and I'm definitely glad that you got a chance to experience that. One of the things that I see that you got a chance to experience was a speech from Congressman John Lewis while you were there, and his speech was entitled Good Trouble. So first of all, the experience just to meet him and to be in his presence as he was giving a speech. Let's talk about that speech and just being in his presence. How was that?
Yes, for John Lewis to come and give my speech during graduation, that was amazing. First, it was pouring down raining, and he was committed to still do his speech. He did not shorten it, but he was committed to give the word out to the students that graduated in 2019. He did do his speech, Good Trouble, and to me, it made me want to go out and do that Good Trouble on just like how they were during the civil rights movement, how they would be in the dining halls and get arrested for doing something that they shouldn't, that they shouldn't have gotten arrested for. That was no harm. So I love the Good Trouble, and I hold on to that today.
Well, what's some of the good trouble that you have gotten into since that speech?
Yes, one example of Good Trouble that I am practicing would definitely be at work. I'm in the field of work for the first time, and I definitely speak up when I see something going wrong in the workplace and just using my voice.
Awesome. And so before that, were you getting into good trouble before that? Like, or did that speech inspire you to actually start getting into good trouble, or did it inspire you to get into more good trouble?
No, I was not getting in as much as good trouble as I am today before the speech.
And so since then, things have changed. How have they changed for you? What's different between now and from then to now?
Having more confidence and getting in good trouble.
Well, you definitely gave us an example of good trouble, and so you definitely have to speak up, and so use your platforms to continue to do that, because other people, of course, they're need a voice. And so we do appreciate you for being that voice, and you're here today as a young professional. So tell us a little bit about what your profession is and what you do.
Yes, so I work at a safe home for women that have victims of sex trafficking, and we help them get into long-term programs where they'll seek counseling, group therapy, learn about hygiene. And two of our main goals when they first come to the safe home is their safety and their stability.
That is amazing. That's definitely needed. That is very big in the United States, sex trafficking and sex workers. So the awareness of it and helping these women who are being trafficked and battered and abused, and that they have that outlet and that channel through people like you. So we definitely, especially our African American women, our young women, because that's very prevalent in today's society. So we appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Much success to you. Thank you for joining us on the red carpet here, 106 Live.
Thank you.
You heard it first, y'all. Kyla Renee Davis. She's out here helping the young women who are being sex trafficked. And we're going to pass it to Kaya B.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Kaya B here with Bridge Club Crew. I am back. And the next student I will be talking with is Kayla. Hello, hi Kayla, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. So I know that you're a new student here with the AD King program. Tell me, how did you find out about this?
I am a member of Diamond in the Rough Youth Leadership Program located in Lawrenceville. And one of my advisors said, hey, there's this foundation started by AD King. And I thought that was so cool. So I was like, I'd love to be a part of it. And she asked me if I wanted to be a panelist. And I said, absolutely, I want to be a panelist. Are you kidding me? So yeah, now I'm here.
I know that's right. If somebody asked me if I want to be a panelist, I'm going to be like, yes. No, you like, I got stuff to say. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What school do you go to?
I go to Georgia State University. I'm a computer science major. It's my sophomore year. I love computer science. I love all science, but computer science and mycology, which is the study of mushrooms, really popped out to me. So yeah.
Mycology, that's what you said? Mycology?
Yeah, mycology.
I have never in my life heard it. I have never, but it sounds pretty cool to me. And I went to college. I've been around a couple of people studying computer science. So what made you get into computer science?
It pays well. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke.
The honest truth. The truth hurts. Okay.
It's a really cool field. Well, mainly I wanted to go into it because it's focused around like making mistakes, if that makes sense. Like it's a lot of trial and error. So it was a field that I could go into and learn through like repetition instead of like, and then it also like is able to go into a lot of different fields. So I wanted to study environmental science as well. And I found a way to combine computer science and AI technology with environmental studies. So that was really cool for me. I just kind of like it because it is so big, and it's what's pushing things forward. So
definitely, I hear that. Okay, so it says here that you're passionate about giving back to your community. So what are some things that you've done in your community to give back?
Well, I worked at the DeKalb County Courthouse in DeKalb County, and I was on this project where just the best job I've ever had. I miss it so much. Where I looked at old real estate documents and I documented the slaves that were bought and sold in the 1800s. So we had to pull out these huge red books and read like this old timey Declaration of Independence type of cursive. And it was just really cool to be a part of a team that was dedicated to finding people who were lost in history and putting them back into history, so that was one of the cool projects that I did recently.
That sounds very cool to me. So what are some of your expectations once you actually complete this program? What do you expect to learn here? And what are some things that maybe these people can learn from you?
I expect a lot. I think I expect to learn how to talk to people, how to communicate, how to connect more with my community. I hope to learn that, and I'm sorry, what was the second question?
I just said, what do you expect out of it and what can they learn from you?
How to roll with the punches, I guess. How to
just be young and in charge, like a young businesswoman and giving back. I love that we can just give back at such a young age and inspire the younger generation to do the same, because I know this program is like dedicated to those young people and bringing young people together to do better. So I think there's a lot that people can learn from you. I think that you have so much to offer. Most definitely, but it was really great talking to you and I really thank you for that. Now we will have Queen. That is Queen Kween.
So, guys, I found this gentleman here. He goes by Dr. Edward Velo. Yeah. He was a hot mess out here. I'm going to bring some light. So let everybody know, what do you do?
What do? I am currently in transition. I was a former community college president for about 12 years, and I've spent about 40 years in higher education.
Okay. He say he's president because he like to run things.
Well, I think that leadership is very important.
Okay.
And if we're going to make a difference in society, we need to be very clear about not only what direction we're going in, but also very clear about how we're going to get there. And I like direction, and I like to work with people who know where they're going and how they're going to get there. So I just find myself being a part of the movement, part of the solution, as opposed to being part of the problem. To be part of the solution, I think it's very necessary to be a leader.
Indeed. So what would you tell the young people here today? Oh yeah, he's also an honoree. Let me bring that up, that he's gonna be honored tonight. Is that tomorrow night? It's tomorrow night.
Yes,
I'm gonna get myself straight. Tomorrow night he's gonna be honored because of the great person that he is, the leader. And you've been doing this for how many years?
I've been in higher education for 40 years.
That's a long time.
It's not a long time if you enjoy what you're doing.
Okay, good answer.
And I find that not one day that I spend in the field, I had moments, of course, we all do, but I can say that I honestly enjoyed my work. And I feel that anyone who's going into a profession today, I think the first criteria ought to be, are you having fun doing what you're doing?
Oh, absolutely.
So that to me is very important. Very important. Wouldn't you agree?
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think that young people who are going into any profession today, they should enjoy it. And most importantly, find a way to make a difference. Why? Because you are in a position of opportunity, change. You are also being paid to make a difference. Yeah, you're getting the money.
Getting that money.
And so if you're gonna be paid, find a reason to be there and to make a difference beyond the paycheck.
You hear that? Love what you do.
Love what you do.
Love what you
Because you're gonna do
do.
it. You have to do it.
I would have loved for you to be my professor.
Well, I think that you would have enjoyed it. I was an English teacher.
Okay. I still need to learn a little English.
I taught English. And I have students today who are still in conversation with me. So I'm very honored with that.
It was good. It was good. This interview was good. So we're gonna have some more fun. It's really fun. So is that
We're done.
are we done? Are you done?
No.
I see you loving what you're doing right
Yeah,
now.
I
You're
love
loving
what
this
I'm doing.
interview.
Yes.
I love that you love the interview. So we're gonna go on break, and we were glad to have you.
It was my pleasure, and
We're gonna do another interview with you tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Then I will look forward to that. And let the record show that I was particularly interested in having you interview me because I could see that you enjoy what you're doing and you have such great charm, and so it makes a difference.
Ooh, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
All right, guys, this is Queen with 106 Live Radio, and we'll be right back with some more students. And B. Ray doing a great job. Kaya B doing a great job. We'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you. So what you think?
You did all right. I think your interview would have been better if I would have.
If he did.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Bullying. It not only affects the person who is being bullied, but it could also affect the person who is witnessing someone else be bullied. Please let's remember to stop bullying on our school campuses and everywhere else. Join 106liveradio.com to help stop bullying.
A well-balanced lifestyle refers to a sustainable way of living that promotes your overall health and wellness. According to Doctors Jason and Tanasha Gray, authors of From Brokenness to Wholeness, Team Gray are international inspirational speakers and epic marriage advocates. Their prayer is that you pursue wholeness and harmony in every aspect of your life. You see, wellness involves creating a harmonious balance between your connection with God, life's calling, or vocation, family, relationships, leisure activities, and personal development growth goals. Some healthy self-care practices include regular physical exercise, a balanced diet, adequate sleep, and effective management of stress levels, all while cultivating meaningful relationships. You are a multifaceted human being. Therefore, we here at sourceofwellness.org encourage you to explore your innate passion and interests that bring lasting joy and deeper fulfillment. As you soar to a higher dimension, Team Gray's counsel to you is to optimize, begin the journey of becoming excellent in spirit, effective, and live based on your God-given gifts and mandate. It's time to function at your best and live up to your greatest potential.
Hi, this is Michael Lancaster. Hoping you'll join me every first and third Sunday on Life Talks with Gathering and Friends as we get into the Word of God and talk about its application to life.
I taught for 20 years until I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit. Getting his early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard, but it gave us time to take control of the situation together.
I can't imagine going through this without him.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking of changing your marketing strategy? 106 Live Radio is the solution you need to promote your goods and services. We are offering special advertising rates on our fast-growing radio network. We can also help you create an audio commercial or a website banner that fits your business needs. It is just that simple. Visit our website at 106liveradio.com for details.
Bringing you the best shows and music 24/7 on your favorite radio. It's 106liveradio.com.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Bullying. It not only affects the person who is being bullied, but it could also affect the person who is witnessing someone else be bullied. Please let's remember to stop bullying on our school campuses and everywhere else. Join 106liveradio.com to help stop bullying.
A well-balanced lifestyle refers to a sustainable way of living that promotes your overall health and wellness. According to Doctors Jason and Tanasha Gray, authors of From Brokenness to Wholeness, Team Gray are international inspirational speakers and epic marriage advocates. Their prayer is that you pursue wholeness and harmony in every aspect of your life. You see, wellness involves creating a harmonious balance between your connection with God, life's calling, or vocation, family, relationships, leisure activities, and personal development growth goals. Some healthy self-care practices include regular physical exercise, a balanced diet, adequate sleep, and effective management of stress levels, all while cultivating meaningful relationships. You are a multifaceted human being. Therefore, we here at sourceofwellness.org encourage you to explore your innate passion and interests that bring lasting joy and deeper fulfillment. As you soar to a higher dimension, Team Gray's counsel to you is to optimize, begin the journey of becoming excellent in spirit, effective, and live based on your God-given gifts and mandate. It's time to function at your best and live up to your greatest potential.
Hi, this is Michael Lancaster. Hoping you'll join me every Thursday.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to tell everyone else
Ladies and gentlemen,
about 106 Live Radio.
Welcome back to 106 Live Radio. We're here at the AD King Foundation. Y'all know who I am, it's your girl Queen. And I'm standing here with a gentleman, very special gentleman. His name is David. Say hi,
Martins.
David.
Hi, everyone.
David wanted to interview. He's honorary. So tell us why you're being honored tomorrow.
I am being honored for my inclusion in the AD King Foundation and what I've done to support it and everything I do for the international students.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you do.
So I teach students more about international cultures, about what international countries have been through and what they're currently going through and how it has impacted their work. Because I myself am an international student, I'm a Nigerian guy.
Okay. So do you go to school? Where do you go to school at?
I go to school at Atlanta Metropolitan College on this campus. I am studying film and entertainment studies.
Okay. All right. So do you enjoy doing this?
Well, I enjoy learning a lot about movies and film. I'm hoping to make a movie about myself one day and about my life.
Oh, he's gonna make movies, everybody, and I'm gonna watch your movie. So you gotta let me know when you start doing your movies, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Keep me on your notepad.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what you looking? Don't be nervous. He's a little nervous. Don't be nervous.
Yes.
No, you're gonna tell everybody something. What you gonna tell?
Yeah, I'm glad I came to this event, learning about cultures and the history. I hope to learn a lot more for the rest of the day.
Okay. And do you plan on being with the AD Foundation?
Yeah, I plan on continuing to be involved for the rest of my life because
Oh, he said for the rest of his life.
it's an organization that really changes a lot and installs a lot in young people, and I really like that.
All right. So this is David, guys. And thank you, David, for coming to Red Carpet. You did great.
You're welcome. I'm glad I did.
All righty. Thank you. All right, so guys, we have Rich Club Crew here, 106 Live Radio. We got B Ray, and we also have Kaya B right here, and they're going to interview Kaya B. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not happening. So we're going to have B Ray come through.
Y'all excuse Queen. So we're going to go on a quick break as the students are getting ready to go into a class session. So as we get more people to interview, y'all stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Please like and share this page. Stay tuned, 106liveradio.com.
Are you ready to elevate your connections and improve your networking skills? Here, you can take your career, brand, and organization to the next dimension. Networking with Valerie is your passport for personal and professional growth. Tune in every second and fourth Saturday from 11 to 12 p.m. for our networking events. This is the place to build and maintain relationships. On 106 R&B and Throwbacks, powered by 106liveradio.com. Are you ready to elevate your connections and improve your networking skills? Here, you can take your career. Calling all authors. Do you want to promote your book? Get heard, get seen, make more money. Douglasville Books and 106 Live Radio is now offering promotional packages to create a better audience just for you. 770-949-4363. Douglasville Books, the people's choice.
Join us on The Male Perspective Wednesday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. We will have a weekly dialogue regarding various issues from a male perspective.
I searched the earth for something that could satisfy, a peace for the hurt I had buried deep inside.
106liveradio.com. Call us now. 404-464-8785.
Download the 106 Live Radio app from your Google Play Store or find us on the TuneIn app.
According to studies, more than 40% of Americans have difficulty obtaining, processing, and understanding basic healthcare information, which is necessary for making informed decisions. Lack of healthcare literacy can seriously hamper global healthcare efforts. Author Helen Osborne wanted to increase access to healthcare information. Several camps and workshops are organized for healthcare practitioners to discuss ways to improve health literacy worldwide. For more information, please visit nationaltoday.com/health-literacy-month.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to tell everyone else,
Ladies and gentlemen,
about 106liveradio.com.
Hey guys, it's your girl Kai B here with the Bridge Club crew live on 106 Live Radio. And today I have with me
Josephine Jambo. I'm a former ambassador of my country, Kenya, to the United Nations and a former Deputy Secretary General of the Commonwealth. I lecture at a public university in Nairobi.
Oh, that's a lot. That sounds really nice. The way you present yourself is just really amazing. And so with the AD King program being that it's dedicated to the youth, so what are some things that you have to say to, just continue this legacy and bringing all these people out from all over the world?
Thank you so much. The reason why I'm here is actually because of a contact I met at the United Nations who introduced me to the Joe Beasley Foundation. That's one of the sponsors of the meeting. And this morning we spoke a lot about transatlantic slavery and its impact, not only on the peoples who crossed the Atlantic and others who, by the way, were part of the movement of the African population into diaspora, but we talked about common and a shared destiny, commonality and a shared destiny.
Yes.
And we talked about how we can invest in our future. And this future has a lot to do with young people. You know, I looked at Wakanda not too long ago and I realized that the future is on loan to us from our youth. And what is that future? We must pack it with truth, with the real story about why we're here.
Right.
Some of those stories have been told in a manner that kind of makes the African community come to loggerheads with each other. Yes, there are responsibilities to pick up, but more than that, there are reparations that we need to seek. Reparations for injustices, for the loss of human capital, for the current political stability in many parts of Africa, for the economic depletion, but also we need to think about the way forward for young people across the Atlantic, sharing on the internet, but sharing issues about tourism, about education, about the social sector, about economic enterprise, about culture, about the investment in each other. And so for me, if anything comes of this meeting, it's a message of hope for the future based on the reality of the truth of the past, so we can wipe away the injustices and have a better tomorrow for our young people. And institutions such as this are great to rewrite the story of the African people in diaspora, the African people on the continent, and share it. Not just African American history, but African history. And then train in new competencies for the African of the future.
I love that. I feel like there's been so many misconceptions, and I feel like it's very important to educate the youth because the youth is the future. So it's extremely important to share that knowledge that you have. And I know there's a lot for you to share. And I honestly, truly cannot wait to hear all the things that you have to say.
Thank you so much. We're so glad we have this platform to share. We look forward to you transmitting this on the social media,
Definitely.
both within the US and even to some of us back home in Africa, because the young people there want to know what you are doing and they want to share with you what they are doing.
Exactly. And I'm ready to share. Honestly, I'm ready to share. I'm ready to soak in all the knowledge that you guys are going to pour into us today. And I'm ready to share that with those of my age and those younger than me. So thank you so much for talking to me today, Miss Josephine.
My pleasure, Kaya. Looking forward to seeing you again soon, perhaps in Kenya.
Definitely in Kenya.
Academic scholarship
I want to.
and a golf scholarship.
I will
What I
definitely
like
try to
about
make that
Bryson
happen.
is he chose the road less traveled, where normally and traditionally people will go to school to play basketball and football. He chose golf. He's brilliant. He's a mechanical, if I'm not mistaken, mechanical engineering major. He's doing great things. Everybody meet Mr. Bryson. Next to him is, she says, Kyla Renee Davis. She introduced her whole self. Amen. And so let me tell you a little bit about Kyla. One of the interesting things about Kyla is Kyla grew up in an environment in upstate New York where she grew up in a PWI environment, predominantly white schools. But she chose the first HBCU to complete her formal education, which is
Lincoln University.
Lincoln University. And they were formed in what year? Were they formed, Kate?
1854.
1854. Some of the things about Kyla that I thought was quite unique is she grew up in a household where they trained the family to serve their community. Kyla broke barriers within her family. She was the first person to achieve a 4-year degree in her lineage. I think that's quite notable for what she has done in the environment in which she came from. Her grandparents reared her, but one thing that she's proud of is that her mother has become one of her best friends. And so it goes to show that from generation to generation, we still need to connect. Thank you so much. And of course, last and not least, is my friend, Demaya Denson. Demaya, one of the things that she wrote down about herself was that she was a Christian college student. And I thought that was quite notable, that was one of the first things that you noted about your background. She has a very interesting testimony at Oglethorpe University. She went in with a friend to seek out and see what the school was offering. And because she was so dynamic, she was asked by someone to write an essay, and she was given a presidential scholarship. She is an AI major. She's doing great things. And when she finishes over at Oglethorpe, there's going to be immediate transfer with the dual degree program. Tell them where you're going, sister.
Georgia Tech University.
Georgia Tech University. So she's going to break barriers. Let's see, Sanaya, are you available? Sanaya Pope, I see that she is muted.
She also mutes herself.
Okay. Can she not hear me? I'm in the virtual, okay, because this is the technologist back there. This is the mother of Demaya. She's.
Can you say hello?
Hello, Sanaya?
She should hear you. She can unmute herself.
Sanaya, can you unmute yourself?
No, they checked to see if everyone can.
No one can hear you.
Sanaya.
I hear Audra.
Okay.
Who's my backup, so. There you go. Sanaya, wave at the people. Can you hear me?
She is so mute herself.
Unmute yourself, Sanaya. Can you hear me, Sanaya?
Can you hear me?
Yes, baby, we can. How are you?
Can you unmute?
Can you unmute?
I can't hear you guys.
Oh, she can't hear us. Do I need to speak through the microphone?
She still cannot hear.
Which one is the actual stuff that's connected?
Yeah.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is?
Can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you, Dr. Reverend Matt, but I cannot hear Sanaya.
Can Sanaya hear?
All right. Let's get her going and we'll move forward with the person on the end, Miss Denson. First of all, again, I want to thank you so much for being with us. You're such a brilliant young woman. Part of this panel is about young people and innovation and taking the dream and continuing the legacy. And as an IA major, as an AI major, person who's dealing with artificial intelligence, how would you use that to further improve the civil rights legacy?
Can you hear us? Can someone speak?
No, we can't. We can't hear you. We can hear you, not her. Go ahead.
AI can start. AI can be used for a lot of social media platforms.
Business audio.
No, just they can hear now because this is audio.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The biggest companies such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok use AI algorithms in order to get to what you
Because it's not, you don't hear this. Thank you, speak for the I want you to hear her.
So AI can be used in a very vast many ways, where it can be used as many companies use AI for our algorithms to give you what you want and what you need to win. Like on So when talking about platforms, algorithms can be catered to, like if you want something like world news, that could be catered to a way that reaches everyone rather than algorithms that only reach you. So it's more of like the mission can be more improved, and made socially aware by constantly like putting that out and reaching it information that reaches everyone rather than just one person. So AI can work in that way as well. AI can also work with putting information, collecting information, putting it into file directories, and using that information in different ways to aid people. And that can be in different ways. We can use AI as in like physical stuff, such as robots to help us with things, help us do things for the foundation that would take like people a longer time to do. Because that's what makes AI so scary, is the fact that it's always something that's immediate, it's always going, and it's stuff that you wouldn't even think they would know.
Okay, good, thank you. Kyla, you chose human services as your major. Expound to the audience, why did you choose this discipline? Because we know human services kind of tugs at the heart. Tell us your take on human services and why did you choose that discipline?
Yes.
Stand up.
I've always enjoyed being in a role where I can help people help themselves. Human services, we try to find that barrier between the person's need and wants, and how for them to succeed in life. So I've always been a people's person and always been in the community ever since I was younger. My grandparents were very heavy in the community giving back, and I always would see the uplift that they would give people and the smiles after them providing the resources and the words of encouragement. So I continue to follow them in that role.
Mr. Bryson Hannah, you know, you chose a very unique way to go to school, academically and through golf. How can golf, and tell me something about golf that's different, but how would that help the legacy move forward?
Yeah, so first I want to say thank you for having me today, everyone. Thank you for coming. But yeah, so golf and how, can you ask the question?
Yes, you know, what would be your legacy in social justice with golf? Who plays golf? Why is that important for you to choose that versus another sport?
Absolutely. So yeah, so growing up, I started playing golf in 7th grade. And so golf is different because the age can range from 10 years old to 50 years old. I could play golf with a 10-year-old today. I could also play golf with an 80-year-old tomorrow. So growing up, it really taught me how to be able to speak. So whenever you're playing with a 45 middle-aged man on a Saturday, you have to learn how to talk about more than just your name and what school you go to. So I see that connection and the bridge between golf and social justice, because with social justice, you have to learn how to speak. You have to ask for what you want and tell people what you want and why you're here. So growing up really taught me structure, discipline, patience in golf. You have to be very patient. You know, one bad day on the course is not going to change your life. One bad day of life is not going to change your life. Everyone has bad days. So I really see that as the bridge between golf and my change in social justice and community service.
Awesome. Kayla is a future scientist. And how what you study and what you're doing now in school will continue the legacy of an A.D. King or a Martin Luther King. Talk about that.
So I feel like the movement was all about innovation. The movement was all about seeing a problem that everyone had and finding a solution that might not have been popular or even seem possible at the time. And I feel like computer science relates to that in the sense that it's all about trial and error. It's all about seeing a problem and figuring out all the different ways that you can solve it. I also like computer science because it's multifaceted in the sense that it can go out into a lot of different fields. So it can, like Demaya was saying, you know, it can be physical in the sense that it can teach you. It can teach you like different languages and stuff. And then It can also go into like fields like mycology and biology, which I'm also very passionate about.
Tell us, what is the study of mycology?
So mycology is the study of mushrooms or fungal bacteria. I like it because a few years back, some students at Harvard discovered mushrooms that were able to literally eat trash. And that's really huge because, as you know, our planet is dying. We're in the middle of a waste apocalypse, and it's really hard to find sustainable ways of getting rid of trash in a way that doesn't affect the environment in a bad way. So by studying computer science mixed with mycology, we're able to track different species of mushrooms that have enzymes, which are like these little, think of them as like mouths, that can break down trash and recycle it back into the planet, and it doesn't hurt anything, which is really, really great. That's one of the reasons why.
That's awesome. Yeah. Wonderful. So I shared with Kayla, who's a future scientist, and Demaya, but I want to share with you all that I brought today for this event one of the world's greatest Black scientists who went to Morehouse School, and from Morehouse School, he graduated and went to USC Berkeley, correct? UC Berkeley. He was the first fellow in how many years at Corning Incorporated in New York? In over 100 years. He was the first fellow, the first African-American ever. How many patents do you hold, Dr. Truesdale? He holds more than 35 patents in the world. I wanted you all to know how all of this civil rights legacy tie in, how you're interconnected. He went to Morehouse, that's not far from here. He was a part of the legacy and civil rights movement in a sense by breaking barriers and attending an institution that took him to a school that recruited him. And he has patents that we have no idea that we use that this man's responsible for. So you never know who's great around you. And the reason you're here is because you're great and you all are headed in that direction. Okay, I want to talk about your study. Your study is in finance. Please stand up. You are absolutely.
We still can't hear.
You are absolutely brilliant to take on finances.
No, I can't hear.
And I want to know.
Okay, if you pull up the YouTube videos tonight, we can hear them clearly, but for some reason we cannot hear them from the virtual space. Okay. If you want to hear it, you can go to the YouTube link I sent you.
Can we cut that? Yeah. Okay. So you are in the space of finance. You went to school. You've done extremely well. I know we're going to see you taking over things in Wall Street. Tell us about what you expect to do with your finance degree, and how do we use finance to further our legacies, to further our communities, and what will money do for us, and how will you bring it back to the community?
Yes, so as a finance major, or before I was a finance major, I really wanted to choose a major that would allow me to help others as well as help myself. And so it's always important as a finance major to basically practice what you preach and be able to help others manage their money while also practicing good money managing skills. So I understand that there is sometimes in certain areas, there's a lack of financial literacy that's being taught within schools. So I pride myself on being able to not only reach the top of the corporate ladder, but also be able to teach those around me about good money managing skills. So although it's not always about like purchasing the first credit card that you may see, but instead just choosing to save whenever you can spend, it's different things like that.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. It's different things like that that I pride myself on, that I'm able to take away from the job that I may work at from 9 to 5, and then I can bring some of those skills and be able to implement them at home. I also pride myself on the fact that my family is really big on MLK and the legacy that he leaves. In addition to A.D. King, every MLK day, my dad has us sit in the basement and we rewatch the I Have a Dream speech. And at first I didn't understand why we would do it. I thought it was a waste of my time every single year, but he loves MLK and everything that he stands for. And every time that I interact with others, or I choose to break a barrier, whether it be in the finance world or not, I can always see the influence that I was able to watch on the screen whenever I was watching his I Have a Dream speech. So I think that that is really cool that although I didn't understand it then, I was able to see and reap the benefits of what MLK and A.D. King have done for us on the back end.
Thank you so much. Bryson, when we talked, I talked with you about in life sometimes everyone strives for number one. However, sometimes we become number two. As a man, you know that Martin Luther King was always out in the forefront, but he had his brother, which was A.D. King, which was kind of like in the back, which was his support. How do you feel as a man if life comes to the point with you and you take the role of someone in the background, and how would you use that role?
Well, first, I think it's important to know your role and embrace it. So, like, if someone doesn't know who A.D. King is, if I had to say, who is A.D. King? Martin Luther King knows who A.D. King is.
Yes.
The person in the front knows the people that are behind them or behind them to the scenes. But they know that, hey, these are the people. A.D. King is doing the same work as me. He's just not in the spotlight. So I think it's very important for you to know your role and embrace that role. Not everyone is meant to be number one. Not everyone is meant to be the leader. You have to know how to follow to learn how to lead. So I feel like it takes a leader in itself to be able to say, okay, I'm not in the spotlight, but I'm still going to do my best behind the scenes.
Good, good. Kayla, you had an amazing project with DeKalb County. This project was totally different, and I want you to explain to people a little bit, just take 2 minutes, to explain about this project and what it did to you and how you intend to use that project to further the civil rights movement and to share with others.
So I worked at the DeKalb County Courthouse where I basically took old books that were written in the 1800s, they were real estate documents, and they listed all of the different slaves that were bought and sold during that time, and like in a transactional way. So it was like these huge Declaration of Independence type cursive. And I went through them and I found the names and I reported it back to a historian for the official Atlanta slave count. It was a really, really deep experience for me. I felt a lot of emotions while I was reading the book because these people were lost in history. These people didn't have a name, they didn't have a story. Most were only referred to as like girl or boy, and the people who were given names didn't have a last name because they had no origin to get back to. And you hear about the civil rights movement, you hear about how we fought for freedom, how we fought for the right to speak, but the right to have a last name, that's insane, it made me grateful that I'm able to grow up in the day and age that I'm in now, where I can have a heritage, where I can have a community of people that I can look to and say, that's who I am. I come from fighters, I come from protesters, I come from people who saw problems and fixed them, So just being able to work in that space, being able to work with those people, I had a great team, great people. It put things in perspective for me, and it made me realize that my life is important. What I do is important, how I present myself is important, how I show up in spaces is important. It all matters because there were people who didn't have the opportunity that I did, and as an African American woman growing up in America, I feel that it's my responsibility to continue to provide names for the nameless, stand on what I believe in, and keep moving forward.
Kyla, I asked you a question. I think I posed this to a young lady sitting next to you, and I want you to stand up. And then after you, Kyla, I want Ms. Stinson to answer this question. But I asked you if you could sit down with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and his brother A.D. King, what would you ask them? Or what would you say? What would the conversation be composed of?
Yes. If I were to have the opportunity to speak with Martin and A.D. King, I first would thank them for everything that they have done and who they are. I would have the conversation on what they would change today. One of the issues that I see today is that we kind of lack community. There's no more, NAACP meetings, no community meetings. And back then, that's where a lot of like all the brains and like the planning happened. So and a lot of people are into technology now. You go to a restaurant, you see kids on tablets, not reading a book or interacting with family. So I think that I would ask them about the piece about how to bring the community back, because it takes a village to raise a child and to raise us.
Absolutely. Ms. Denson.
When it comes to AI technology, there's a lot of mistrust with how AI should be used to help many other places. So the question that I would ask MLK and AD King would be, would you be willing for AI to replace some of the things that we are used to doing, but never replace the physical need for people to be out there on the streets protesting, the physical need for people to complain, to activate their voices, because AI should always be used in a way where it should be amplifying what has already been done. So I would ask him, how would he begin with using AI to amplify what he's already done?
Good. Michaela, in your travels, you've been fortunate enough to go out of the country. And so that means you had exposure to culture and travel. Tell us a little bit about that, and how does travel help us to continue the legacy?
Yes, so last year I studied abroad in Montepulciano, Italy. I traveled there and I stayed for 2.5 weeks. I really didn't know anybody going into the experience. And then I also went into it knowing absolutely no Italian. So I just fully immersed myself into the culture to be able to get the most out of it. Whenever I did first walk into the room, my then professor asked me what I wanted to get out of it. And I was just like, I'm a foodie, so I really want to try the spaghetti. But after that, I realized that there was so much more to it that I could expound on. When I first actually touched down at the airport, I had braids in my hair, and one of the photographers that was standing outside the airport, he was like touching my hair, and he was like, I have got to get pictures of this. He went running back to tell his Italian friends to come back and take pictures of my hair, and my hair wasn't even all that done. But I was just like, it's fine. I just sort of like, I understood that sometimes there's people that don't know. So I didn't want to just come off as rude, like, please don't touch my hair, and be just rude about it. Because again, he just didn't know. But one of my biggest things was trying to figure out what it was that they might have been lacking that I could potentially teach them or educate them about. So one of the first questions that I always asked Italians that I found sort of funny was, what is something that you think about Americans, even though you haven't been to America? And they thought that we were lazy and that we don't know anything. And then I thought to myself, like, well, I do try and find the closest parking spot whenever I do go to the store. So he isn't wrong necessarily about that. But just the experience as a whole, it allowed me to be able to see what other people might take or to see what people in America might take for granted. So something as simple as having to pay for the water that's at our table, or something like the education that they might get. I came across a guy that was from, I think he was from Poland. He came on his spring break, but he was able to tell me all of the American presidents and which one was his favorite. And I don't know anybody past Barack Obama, but he told me that his favorite was Barack Obama. So we bonded a lot, and that was really a good experience. But it's different opportunities like that where I'm able to not only go over across the country, but be able to sit where I want to on the plane, be able to talk to whoever I would like to, be able to walk wherever I would like to, have to go through the front door, be able to walk through the front door. It's different things like that that I might have taken for granted before I had gone to Italy, but being there, it allowed me to just sort of immerse myself in that culture as well as take the most out of the opportunity. Because a lot of people, again, were there simply for the food, or they were there to see the Catholic artifacts of the Vatican and different things like that. But I mean, I was more there just to see like how people live their life, the different languages that they knew. I came back and I was like, I have got to get on Duolingo. I'm clearly slacking in terms of the languages. They knew 3+ and I barely knew English. So it was different things like that that I didn't take for granted, but it made me more appreciative of the work that MLK and A.D. King have done on the forefront so that I could be able to travel and see those people and meet those people. So it's
awesome. This is my last question to each of you. We're going to start at the end with Ms. Denson. You know, Ms. Denson, you come from an environment where all of your siblings are highly motivated, they're highly educated. Mama in the green, raise your hand, Mama in the green. She won't have it no other way. Her children are all on the engineering track from one school, one institution to the next. They are trailblazers. Stand up and tell us who inspired you in your life and what will you do with that inspiration?
Well, the lady in the green is, she is very well built in cybersecurity. She is a professional hacker for many different companies.
HCC ready.
She actually just got a job for a very big company,
Morgan and Stanley, absolutely. Congratulations.
She constantly inspires me because although her work is constantly always behind the screen, which is like a lot of engineering jobs, there is still a lot of emotion that she's putting into it, a lot of possibility. Like she's aiming for the customer satisfaction. She's aiming to complete this long server. She's aiming to do different things that just cater to like who she is, but putting it into the code. Because code is always going to be the same, but my mom is short and direct, always. And that is her code, short and direct, and that is the best code that you could ever have. So I apply that into the ways where, in my classes, because right now they're just physics classes. Some of them are building robotics, some of them are learning about what a diode is, what a gate is, and whatnot. But I apply that. How can I get all this information into this short and direct way? How can I replay this information short and direct way? So it helps me build with that.
Good for you. Thank you so much. Kyla Davis.
Yes.
You have a lot of inspiration. You've got great grandparents, great parents. You have aunts and nieces and cousins and everyone who's doing wonderful things. Who inspires you? And tell me why they inspire you. What do you do with that inspiration?
Yes. So the person that inspired me today, I would have to say Lauryn Hill. She is an activist. She is a singer. She's a rapper. And the reason why she inspires me is because she brings up the injustice that's going on like in the community and the government. She's very relatable. She talks about, the birds and the bees for the kids whose parents aren't talking about them. Her music, she talks about that. And I love that she wears her hair naturally and she just really expresses the struggles that Black women go through and how we can go above the struggles that we're going currently.
Awesome. Mr. Bryson, tell us about your inspiration.
Yes, my inspiration is my dad. And besides
Dad, raise your hand.
And so besides him being my dad, he inspires me with the qualities. So forget the name dad. I'm gonna just name off what I like about this. Mm-hmm. And really every day, I'm a sophomore in college now, but every day I realize what my dad was doing and it's like a light bulb came on. For example, so quarantine 2020, I was a sophomore. And so while I was at home on Zoom, I saw my dad get up every day and go to work in the basement on Zoom. So while I was in bed, he was working. And so stuff like that is stuff that I take for granted when I'm 14, 15. But as I turn 19 in April, he's a leader. We can watch the football game Friday night, but we're going to be doing service in the morning.
That's awesome. Kayla, who inspires you? And what do you do with that inspiration?
Probably my great-grandmother. I never met her. My parents, my mother is an immigrant from Jamaica, and she grew up in St. Thomas. They didn't have the best life early on. It was 3 kids, 1 hut, not a lot of food. But my grandmother stepped in and raised everyone. But the thing that really stuck out to me was that she didn't know how to read or write. She didn't know how to read or write, and it crippled her in a way that she couldn't express to the children that she was raising, but she pushed every day to make sure that they got the best education, that they knew that life wasn't just where they were, that they looked out and saw bigger things and valued education in a way that made my mom a teacher, made my aunt an accountant. I really admire her because she was in a space that was limited, but she was able to see the unlimited and teach other people about it. And I feel like
And Michaela, and you all know Michaela and Bryson are brothers and sisters, right? They're siblings, and so their parents got them 2 shooting stars here. So tell us who inspires you.
Yes, but just so we're clear, I am the older sibling. I might be shorter, but I am the older sibling. But to sort of piggyback off what my brother did say, I would say that one of the biggest influences that I have in my life would also be my dad. But contrary to what he said, from the leadership perspective. So from as a child, my dad had us in sports, and I would be ripping and running, always being active, and that allowed me to see different people from whether or not they played better than me or potentially played worse than me, and just allowed me to be a leader in all different aspects. So we played a bunch of sports. He's still continuing, but I did softball, basketball, and I ran track as well. The leadership skills that I would be able to attribute towards softball are not the same leadership skills I would be able to attribute towards track. Track is more of an individual race as opposed to softball that might be more teamwork. You're literally working as a team. But I was able to transfer those skills and build those skills with his guidance and transfer those into the business world. So I actually read an article the other day, and it said about 9% of African American, there's only 9% of African American women in C-suite positions. As it relates,
9% only in the C-suite of African American women. That's a very scary statistics, folks. That's a very scary statistics. Go ahead, sis.
And so with that being known, it made me almost push myself a little bit harder into being that leader that I want to be. So there's different things that my dad talks about all the time that we might take for granted, but whenever I do enter into the finance industry, that's whenever I will be able to actually practice those and implement those. One thing that we talked about yesterday was going to work 5 days out of the week as opposed to 3, or like physically going into the office. And at first I was like, if they allow me to go in for 3 days out of the week, I'm gonna go for 3 days out of the week. But he told me that whenever it comes to wanting to grow in the firm and get hired at in your position, they don't really take into fact the people that do come in 3 days a week. They take into account the people that come in 5 days a week. And so he was like, you can take the 3 days if you want to, but don't complain whenever you're still in the same spot that you're in. So it's just different things like that, different nuggets of advice that he gives that we might like roll our eyes about at the beginning, like, you're an old man, you don't know what you're talking about. But then it's like we go into the business world or we go into the engineering world and we're like, okay, this is what he was talking about. All right. Then I call him and I'm like, you know what? You were right. I'll give you your props. You were right. And 9 times out of 10, that's typically what it comes down to, is telling him that he was right. So now we're in that span of life where we're telling him all the things he was right about. So we appreciate him for that. So yeah.
This was our 2023 panel. You all stand up. This is Demaya Denton. You all will see her in the AI world, changing things, making robots, running major corporations. She will be sought after. Scholastic. This young lady here is brilliant. Human services. She has a heart for people. Currently, she's doing a job that I would not touch, but she works with women who are going through struggles and hard times, making a difference. People are threatening to kill themselves, and she has to deal with that type of behavior. We are proud of the work that you do. Mr. Bryson, who chose a sport, golf, academics. Hey, thank you for being a man on a mission and not being mundane. We appreciate you. Hey, Caleb, you are absolutely headed to a great place as a scientist. I want you to meet Dr. Truesdale before you leave. And I thank you so much for taking on that role that you want to take with mycology, which I really didn't know what the study of it was to explain it, but that's awesome. And look, this is going to be our Wall Street girl. She's going to be financially, she's going to rewrite books. some money right here, folks. This is how you can. Dr. Babs, you want to get a picture or you want to say something to the students?
Yes.
Give them a challenge? Or?
Yes. This has been so amazing. Give them a round of applause again. Those are trailblazers, and these are now and our future. You can see the future is bright when we have people like this. And the role that the parents have to play to transform their lives to who they are today. So let's give a prop also to our parents. Thank you so much. Yes. I would like for you to remain for about 3 minutes because there's another session coming up, and I want you to have that experience with them as well. Most of these people come from different parts of the world. Like those of you that travel, you know the essence of diversity in the true sense of it. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to have another session briefly. We have some of the young delegates who have traveled across Africa, across different countries. Canada, you know, if you're from Canada, can I see your hands up? Okay. Nigeria, can I see your hands up? So we have some of the delegates who are also going to be watching us from different parts of the world. We're here for this the professional boot camp, and I also have one of my great leader in terms of my prof at the back.